Hey y'all, and welcome to this week's Game Over News. Today we have quite a few things to talk about. The release of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the longest gap between Nintendo Directs, possible inside information on Breath of the Wild 2, new Animal Crossing merch, and canceled Animal Crossing Switch console orders. Before we get to that, last week I asked y'all what your dumbest death in a Zelda game was, and Roguecraft said that theirs was Death by Cuckoos in Ocarina of Time, and I think we have all been there. This week I posed the question of which boss, be it mini boss, dungeon boss, or final boss, gave you the hardest time in a Zelda game. I'll let you know my answer at the end. With that, I'm your host, the Geek Apprentice. Now let's get started. Recently, the site Box Lunch has begun selling tons of absolutely adorable Animal Crossing New Horizons themed merchandise. Everything from shirts to jackets to hoodies to scrunchies to mugs and so much more. What a perfect way to continue the hype build up for March 20th. Go check it out. In the past couple of weeks, Nintendo released their new, updated Pokemon game, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. Many fans were super thrilled either because they're replaying an old favorite or this is something new for them. If you personally are still unsure about the game, there is a free demo that you can download from the Nintendo Switch eShop. You may recall a couple of weeks ago I mentioned you could get a special edition Animal Crossing Switch pre-ordered from Urban Outfitters. As one Twitter user put it, maybe Urban Outfitters should just stay in their lane, meaning sticking with apparel and accessories. Apparently within minutes of the item going up for its second round of pre-orders, it was sold out, which that in and of itself isn't the issue. The problem was that the listing stayed up and available for a few hours. Needless to say, hundreds, including myself, I should have known better, received the heartbreaking email that our order was canceled due to their online error. And what did we get in return? A full refund, which, yes, is good, but also a measly $10 off our next order of $50 or more. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a next order. Just saying. Oh well, at least we got a full refund. At the time of recording, it has been around 180 days since the last regular Nintendo Direct, which was September of 2019. Yeah, we had a couple of themed directs, Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Smash DLC, but not your typical direct with a myriad of different announcements. Many fans are eagerly awaiting new information, seeing as far as this year goes, we don't know what's really coming out. Nothing big except for Animal Crossing and the Pokemon DLC, both of which had themed directs. And I also called the Pokemon DLC thing. A lot of people thought I was crazy for making that prediction, but it happened, so just saying. Basically, we're overdue for information. This is speculation, but this might be in part because Nintendo doesn't want to undercut the hype for Animal Crossing, which makes perfect sense. And this is probably mixed with the devastation of the coronavirus. With all of this in mind, including some new information, if you will, we think we might be getting a direct in the beginning of April. Some have noticed that a few of the YouTube playlists for the official Nintendo YouTube channel have been updated, though we don't see what the difference is. It's pretty safe to assume that a bunch of videos were uploaded but have been set to private so we can't see it, only that the playlist itself was updated. And we know that after Nintendo releases a direct, they release the individual trailers one by one on their channel. So that might be what they're doing right now, uploading all those individual trailers and announcements so that when the direct is over, hopefully sometime soon, they can immediately publish all of those. I don't know, it's just a thought, and I'm thinking early April because it really needs to be by then. There's just so much unknown, and there's so much that Nintendo is probably itching to tell us about. The next Mario game, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, what's gonna be the holiday big hit seller this year. We gotta know, Nintendo, and I know you want to tell us, so let's get to it. For those familiar with the channel and or the podcast, the Hylian Gamescast, you know that we have had a lot of friends who work for Nintendo and other developers. Writers, translators, voice actors, composers, many of whom have actually been on the podcast. Like Joe, who voiced both Daruk and Yunobo in Breath of the Wild, Mike Drucker, who worked as a writer on Skyward Sword and many other Nintendo games, and Grant Kirkhope, who was the composer of the music for Banjo-Kazooie. But we also have other friends in the industry who prefer to remain anonymous. One of those anonymous friends gave us some interesting information, but first we do want to stress, we don't know that these are fact, so they should be regarded as rumors and nothing else. Concerning Breath of the Wild 2, or the sequel to Breath of the Wild, there was mention of new enemies, which I guess we kind of all expected was going to happen, but also something about different modes for the game. Not necessarily normal and master, more like easy and normal. Easy having higher weapon durability and kind of just being a mode for first-timers and younger kids, making the normal mode what we already had. Hopefully this doesn't mean they're getting rid of Master Mode, seeing as so many players love that challenge. Either way, these are just rumors, but they're fun to talk about nonetheless. Thank you so much for joining this week's Game Over News. We'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and join us over in the GameOverJC Discord for more fun and conversation. And a huge shout out to the GameOverJC patrons. Y'all are extra awesome. By the way, I have two equally troublesome bosses for me personally when it comes to Zelda. The first is the final boss from Link's Awakening. I just could never time my hits for the final form of the nightmare. The other is Phantom Ganon from the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time. Until I learned that you could stand by that one particular pole and not get shocked by him, I just died all the time. I stink at games, but I love them anyway. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you next week.